Hello. Good morning, good afternoon. Let's see here. Hello, hello. Let me get my screen all situated. Happy Friday. I'm so excited to spend time with you all. Okay, cool. All right, let me share my screen. All right, we're gonna give everyone a few minutes to roll on in. So if you're on the call right now, awesome. Feel free to grab some water, a pen and paper. We'll start at around 5 after the hour. Cool, yay. As you join, please share your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box. I'd love to get to know each of you on the call. Great. Cool. All right, we got Shannon from Chicago. You're an educator. Fantastic. Hey, Chloe. Chloe's from Asheville, North Carolina. Freelancer, web and graphic designer. Chloe is amazing. And let me actually switch this so you all can see each other's comments. Virginia, hey, Virginia from Argentina, but currently living in LA, former makeup artist, stay-at-home mom of 3 boys. I'm so glad you could make it, Virginia. Cool, cool. Yay. As you all roll in, please share your name, where you're from, and your career in the chat box so we can all get to know each other. And we got Brenda. Brenda is a CPA from Cincinnati. Hey, Brenda, welcome. Cool. All right, so for those that answered, thank you. If you could help me with a screen check, we're gonna do a little technology check right here. Please let me know that you can see this screen. It says Money Horoscope Series. You can just type yes in the box. Perfect, cool. A few weeks ago, we had some technical difficulties and I did a whole presentation and no one could see the screen. So now we do that check every time. All right, we've got Terry here. Terry, if you could also type in the phonetic pronunciation of your name, I just want to make sure I am pronouncing it correctly. Got Terry from Maryland, who is a health consultant. Awesome, glad you could join us. T. Airy. T. Airy, emphasis on the E. Thank you for that. Awesome. Well, it is now 5 after the hour. Let's get started. I'm so excited. Even though we're mostly all like stay at home, I still feel excited when Friday rolls around just because I don't know, it still feels like the weekend, even if I'm not really doing anything different. Hopefully, you feel the same. So today we're going to be talking about money horoscope for Libras. I love all signs. I love all sun signs. Libras, you're one of my favorites just because you just bring beauty and harmony, which you already know that about yourself. I'm just here to confirm likely what things that you already know about yourself in this money horoscope. So today and throughout the series, this is now, I think, the sixth or seventh sun sign now. We're doing all 12. In this money horoscope series, we're going to go through your birth chart. We're going to talk about, and if you're not familiar with your birth chart, don't worry, we'll go through what that is. We'll also talk about your innate currency. So this is the natural gifts that you offer to the world. And in return, you get paid money for it. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll also talk about 3 elements that inform your prosperity path, what it is that will make you rich and abundant in this human body. So that's what we'll go over today in this money horoscope series. As you have questions or aha moments, feel free to type it in the chat box. I will look through all of them at the end. And if we have time at the end, I'll also do a money reading for anyone that wants to get their reading done here on the call. So we'll do one of those if we have time. A little bit about me. If you're new to my work or new to the series, my name is Danetha. I am a money mystic and an economist. So my formal education is in economics. I do a lot of work with municipalities and other bodies of organizations around economic planning. I'm also a mystic though. So although I love numbers, I love graphs, I love being very linear, I also believe in the mystical realm. And I combine the two of those in Money Mimosas. So Money Mimosas is a blog, it's a resource for those that want to learn how to create their own path to financial freedom. We now have readers in over 50 countries, which is super exciting. You can find out more at moneymimosas.com. And I've been named a personal finance expert, most recently by Time Magazine, also Wall Street Journal, and Fast Company. So that's me. And our intention at Money Mimosas is to provide the tools you need to make money in alignment with your soul's purpose. I like to say it's about elevating your self-worth and net worth. It's really just about making money, having fun, and making a difference while doing all of that. So that's our intention, and that's the intention with this series. The 2 resources that I'll refer to, that I did refer to and will refer to as we go through this money horoscope information is number 1, Chani Nicholas's book, You Were Born for This. I have it right here. As we do, if we have time for a reading, I'll also be referring to it. This woman is amazing. If you aren't familiar with her, she's an astrologer originally from Canada. Now I believe lives in LA. I've never met her. I'm just a student of her work, and her work is fantastic. So I'll be referring to her information to help guide this presentation. One of the quotes from the book that I think really sets the tone for what we're going to be exploring today is whatever pattern constellated in the heavens at the moment you took your first breath is the cosmic imprint of your soul, the map of the journey you will take in this lifetime. Chani Nicholas. That quote, I get goosebumps every time I read it, every time I think about it, that each of us, when we took our first breath, the way the stars were aligned, the way the planets were aligned, it really did have an imprint on our soul. And when we look at our astrological chart, we can see that our life has unfolded, yes, according to our own free will as humans, but also there was some things imprinted along the way as well. So that's what astrology is all about, is understanding our imprint as the stars and the planets had upon our soul. The other resource that I'll be referring to is my intuition. So if you've read this book, if you do read this book, you will see that the title, You Were Born for This, is really an invitation for all of us to wake up to our inner power. My inner power has always been around money. I knew this from the age of 6. I wrote my first poem and it was about money. And I've always had this interesting mystical connection with money. And now as an adult, I've realized that my purpose on the planet is to heal economic systems and elevate wealth consciousness. And so this information, I share this because you won't find this information anywhere else. It's not me blowing steam or saying a bunch of BS. It's really true that I'm the only one on the planet that does this work in the way that I do it. And if you do find that this information resonates with you, all I ask is that you credit me when you reference it. It's good financial karma, you know, all those things. That's why I credit Chani Nicholas as much as possible and anyone else that I refer to, because it's good karma, period. And when it comes to money, it's especially good financial karma. So those are the two resources that I'll be referring to and as we go through this presentation that I've referred to create this presentation. So let's start with your birth chart. If you've never seen a birth chart before, this is your first time seeing it, it might seem overwhelming. It's okay. I was definitely overwhelmed when I first saw one. But as you look at yours more often, it'll become second nature to you. Right now, we're looking at a Libra birth chart. So all of you on the call are likely Libras. We've had some calls where folks signed up that weren't the sun sign, but they were interested in learning about it. So I assume all of you are Libras or you have someone special in your life that are Libras. This is a Libra birth chart. And let's quickly get acquainted with it. We'll refer back to this and I'll go into more detail around the birth chart. But just to initially get acquainted with this chart, let's draw our eyes over to the left-hand side where we see the name Isabella at the top. Below the name Isabella, we'll see her birth date, October 6th, 1995. We'll also see her time of birth. Knowing your time of birth is helpful. There's some information that can only be accessed on your birth chart if you have your specific birth time. If you don't have your specific birth time, totally cool. You can still get a lot out of your birth chart. If you do have that time though, it's incredibly helpful. So we see her birth time. We also see where she was born. She was born in Bucharest, Romania. And then below that in red, we'll see her natal chart reading. So we see that her sun sign is a Libra, and we'll see that her ascendant sign is Scorpio. So those are quick overview of the information on the chart. To the right, where we see the big circle, that is the actual birth chart. And I'll go through the different elements on the birth chart here in a moment. But I first wanted to show you what one looks like, especially if you've never checked one out before. So the three main aspects of anyone's birth chart are, number one, your sign. So all of you on this call are likely a Libra sun sign. But just because you're a Libra sun sign, that's not the only sign that's on your chart. All of us have all of the signs somewhere on our chart. And so depending upon where those signs are located on your chart will dictate how that area of your life is expressed or lived out. So signs is one aspect of your chart. The other aspects are planets, and all the planets are located somewhere on our chart. And again, just like the signs, depending upon where those planets are located, will dictate how that area of your life is expressed. And all of the planets are included in astrology. For some of, I grew up with Pluto being a planet, and now it's not considered a planet, but still in astrology though, Pluto is a planet. And it's actually, we won't get into Pluto's meaning when it comes to money in this webinar, but it's actually a fairly interesting, depending upon where it's placed on your birth chart, can reveal a lot about your connection with money, your relationship with money. So all planets are somewhere on your chart, and depending upon where they are, will determine how that area of your life is expressed. And then the other aspect of your chart are the houses. So there are 12 houses. Let's draw our eyes to house one, for instance. So house one governs our physical appearance, how we present ourselves, how we feel in our body. If we draw our eyes to house 6, that has to do with health and wellness, our work habits, our rituals, and all of these houses govern a specific area of our life. And so depending upon where the sign and the planets are in relation to these different houses will help us better understand why certain areas of our life are expressed a certain way, or why we feel more, we have more of a passion, let's say, for health and wellness, or we have a deep love for cultivating and nurturing friendships, or we have a deep love for creativity and childlike expression. So depending upon where the planets and the signs are located in relation to these houses will really help you see, oh, okay, this is why my life is the way it is. And this is why I have the interests that I do, or the passions that I do. So those are the 3 aspects of the chart that really make up the birth chart. When it comes to your prosperity path, this is the aspect where my intuition came in to take a look at someone's birth chart and then distill it into 7 elements to really help see what someone's relationship with money is, what their prosperity path will likely be throughout their lifetime. So your prosperity path, these 7 elements are what I look to first when I'm looking at giving a money reading or to better understand someone's money blocks. I look at these 7 areas. So 1 is your sun sign. So you're all Libra sun signs. But although you're all Libra sun signs, the placement of your Libra sign is likely different person to person, just here on this call and certainly here around the world. So we look at the sun sign and then we also look at the sun house. So depending upon where your Libra sun sign is placed, it will govern a specific house, specific area of your life. So that's number 2. Then number 3 is your moon sign. So you're a Libra sun sign, but then you also have a moon sign, which could be Aries, it could be Gemini, it could be Pisces. So we look at that moon sign, and then we look at the house. Where is that moon sign? What is it governing? What area of your life is it governing? And then we look at your ascendant. So this ascendant sign, if you remember Isabella's birth chart that we just looked at, and we'll look at it again, her ascendant sign was Scorpio. And so the easiest way that I've come to understand ascendant sign is, if you're familiar, if you ascribe to the idea of self-actualization, the idea that you can become all that you can be in this human body. That's what I see the ascendant sign as. So you're born a Libra sun sign. You could be ascending into a Libra. You could be ascending into another sign. And that process, whichever one it is for you, is the process of self-actualization. And then each ascendant sign has an ascendant ruler, which is a planet. Everyone's ascendant sign is in house 1. But depending upon your ascendant sign, there's a different planet that rules over that ascendant sign. So for instance, if you're ascending to a Gemini, your ruler, your planet ruler would be Mercury, the planet Mercury. And then number 7, the last element that I look to, not the last one, these are the 7 main ones that I look to. So of the main elements, the last one that I look at is the Mars house. So where Mars, the planet Mars, is placed on your birth chart does say something about your prosperity path. And we'll go through what each of these elements has to say as it relates to money here in a few moments. Let's give you an overview. Those are the 7 elements that we look to. Okay, so before we dive in, I want us all to keep 2 things in mind. Number one, everyone is destined to be rich. Everyone is destined to live a life of peace and prosperity. I do not subscribe to the idea that some people are destined to be doomed, are destined to live a life of despair. Everyone is destined to be rich. Now, the path to what that is will be different for everyone. And also, the idea of what is rich, what is a life of peace and prosperity will be different for each person as well. How I see a rich life will likely be different than how you see a rich life. You may see it even differently than your mom or your sister. So, what rich and peace and prosperity is subjective to each person, but everyone's destined to that life of whatever they would feel is a rich life, a life of peace and prosperity. The path, though, is unique to each person. But to be very clear, everyone's path, everyone's destiny is to be rich. And then number two, do not give your power to this chart or anything for that matter, anything, just the idea of astrology from my perspective and the idea of sharing this information with you is to help give you more tools to deepen your connection with your own intuition. And that's the first and foremost guide. Sometimes our intuition, our connection with our intuition is clouded. And so tools like this can help you get more clarity. But at the end of the day, you are your own guide. You are your source. You are the source of your own power. And so if something truly doesn't resonate with you, discard it. It's just not for you. If it does resonate with you, great. Like, apply it how you see fit. But definitely keep that rule in mind. And I'm going to repeat that a couple of times because that is the danger of this type of work is people can lose themselves in it and forget that ultimately they are their own guide. So those are the two rules. I'm not big on rules, but those two I'm cool with. Now let's go back to the Libra birth chart. So remember Isabella, she is a Libra, she is ascending into a Scorpio. Now that we have an idea of what all makes up this chart, let's take a look at Isabella's chart. I first want to direct our eyes to the key on the left-hand side. So we can see Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus. That's the key that we're looking at. That key will help us find where those planets are placed on the chart. So let's take a look for her sun sign. So we can see the sun sign symbol is two circles, a small circle and a bigger circle. And we also see that there's a number 12 listed next to that sun sign. So that number really helps make it easier to find that symbol. So if you move your eyes now over to the birth chart, we can look for Isabella's sun sign placement. So we know she's a Libra, so we can see that the sun sign is in relation to the Libra sign. Then we can also see the house that her sun sign is placed in. So her house is house 11, and you can find that by drawing your eyes to the center of the circle and you see the number 11. So now we know that Isabella, yes, she's a Libra sun sign, and her Libra sun sign is associated with house 11. Now let's look for the moon. If we go back to that key, we can see the moon sign. We see it's number 13. So if it's hard for you to find the moon symbol, look for the number 13. We go back to the birth chart and we find the moon on her chart, and it is in house number 4. So hopefully we can all see that. And then let's go and find her Mars, because that is another planet that we'll be looking at as well. So if we go back to the key, we can find Mars, number 19. And then if we bring our eyes back to the birth chart, we can see that her Mars is associated with house 1. Okay, so now if this is your first time seeing the birth chart, hopefully it's now making a little bit more sense in terms of how you can read it. And all the planets have play a role, but we'll just focus again on those 3 that I just mentioned as it relates to money. Cool. So, making money in alignment with your soul's purpose, this is the foundation to peace and prosperity. And I add pleasure in that as well. I actually added it specifically for you, Libras, because that is part of what you offer to the world. The more we're in alignment with ourselves, which is what I call soul, you may have another word for it. But the more you're in alignment in any aspect of your life, the more you'll feel peace and the more you'll be a natural attractor of abundance, especially if you're in alignment with how you make money. The key is knowing what your purpose is. And then once you know your purpose, you can make money doing exactly what you were born to do. There are a lot of us who, unfortunately, are not clear on what our purpose is. Or we may be clear on it, but don't necessarily have the courage to pursue it. And until we do that, we won't be in alignment with how the purpose that we're here to play on this planet. And also, it just makes it harder. You know, think about anything that just doesn't fit right. If you're not in alignment with it, it makes it that much more challenging to have a peaceful existence. And so the more you make money that you know is in alignment with your purpose, the easier everything becomes. Astrology is one tool you can use to uncover your soul's purpose. It's a pretty effective tool. And so this is a great place if you are seeking clarity, if you're seeking, maybe you're already clear, but just need additional courage, additional validation. Astrology can be one tool to help you do that and uncover your soul's purpose. Astrology is also a tool you can use to reveal your relationship with money. Money is currency, and currency is energy. You know, think about the current of a river, the current, the flow. That's what money is. Money is meant to flow. It is energy. It's energetic, our relationship with it. And so astrology is one tool you can use to reveal your relationship with that energy. And that energy is what we call money. And then it also reveals your unique prosperity path. Those are the 7 elements that I went through, and we'll go through specifically what those 7 elements are and how they relate to your prosperity path. It also reveals your unique connection to the law of attraction, and we'll go through what your connection is as a Libra. If you're not familiar with the law of attraction, it's this idea that was made popular by the book The Secret, the movie The Secret. It's actually one of 12 laws, universal laws that relate to abundance. Law of attraction is the most well known. And it's this idea that you can become a magnet for whatever you desire simply because you desire it and you're steadfast in that desire. So everyone has, though, a unique connection to how to activate their own law of attraction. And it's about being in alignment, being in flow. That's how you become a natural attractor of abundance. Astrology also reveals potential money blocks. The universe is a trickster. It creates setbacks in our life, predetermined setbacks. I think for 2 reasons. 1, because it likes to play jokes. 2, it also is an opportunity for us to truly grow into the best versions of ourselves. That can be self-actualization. It can be ascending into your next sign. But those blocks, as we all know, the friction in our life is where we truly grow. When things come easily, it's great, it's awesome. But I think all of us on the call can look back to times where things were a little bit challenging. And once we worked through it, moved through it, we became a much stronger, more evolved person because of the process. And so the astrology, the birth chart as it relates to your prosperity path does reveal potential money blocks that are placed there so that we can grow into our best selves. I want to be very clear, though, that these blocks that it reveals are not related to systems. So the universe places setbacks to help us grow, and then humans create additional blocks because that's part of the human experience, unfortunately or fortunately. So I want to be very clear, though, because I would do a disservice to the work around creating equity if I don't bring this up. So systemic injustice um, is a block that's placed in people's path, but that's not necessarily shown on your astrology money reading. That doesn't actually show up because that's human created. What systemic injustice does is it reduces your sense of worthiness. And when it comes to money, confidence and self-esteem is a big part of creating abundance for yourself. And so systemic injustice, what it does is tactically, it prevents people from being all that they can be financially. It also energetically reduces your sense of worthiness. And we talk a lot about this in the Money Makers group of how that actually works. On the flip side, there is also white shame and white guilt. This does absolutely energetically create a block to your ability to be in alignment with your true self. And it is the price that's paid for perpetuating economic injustice. And until there's an active sense, until there's action taken to shift the economic injustice that is continuing to be perpetuated, that will continue to be the price that's paid. And we talk a lot about that in Money Makers, but that's also something to keep in mind, that these blocks that I'm going to go through, or that you'll see in your astrology chart, does not dismiss the blocks that are placed in people's path created by humans. All right, cool. Now let's dive into the chart. So this is the Money Horoscope. This is Isabella's birth chart. Again, we're going to go through what each element means. So your sun sign is your innate currency. So as Libras, you have an innate currency. You can call it your medicine that you bring to the planet, that you bring to others. And the more you give this medicine, the more you share your innate currency, the more you'll be rewarded. You'll be rewarded with earthly riches, which is money. You'll be rewarded with peace. You'll be rewarded with pleasure. That is what your sun sign reveals. Your moon sign, this is related to the blocks, the setbacks that the universe places on our path to help us grow into our best self. So the moon sign and the moon placement reveals our money growth opportunities. Your ascendant sign, this is your natural sales style. So everyone's got an innate currency, a unique medicine that they offer to the planet. I believe everyone here on this planet has something to offer. And then the way you express that offering is your natural sales style. Everyone has a different way of expressing their gifts, and the way you express your gifts is how you sell your gifts, how you sell your services. So your ascendant sign gives you insight into the way to be in alignment with your natural sales style. And then your Mars house, this is what drives you to financially succeed. And it's interesting, when I first started looking at birth charts, this was where I spent a lot of time, was looking at the Mars placement, because I kept seeing how this was where people were really out of alignment. They were confusing their Mars house with another aspect of their life. And ultimately what it comes down to is where your Mars is placed is where, if you intentionally and consciously spend money according to that house, that is what will fuel your inner drive. Mars is passion, Mars is fiery. And the more you fuel that with the energy of spending money, the more you will fuel your drive to financially succeed. Not everyone is motivated by money. In fact, most people aren't. So knowing though what drives you, what motivates you to be financially successful, it's likely not for money's sake, it's likely for something else. And Mars helps you see where to spend your money so that you can continue to fuel your own fire. All right, so let's talk about y'all, Libras. So Libras, your innate currency is giving others the permission to feel pleasure. Your very essence, like when you're just being, when I say essence, this isn't things that you do, this isn't things that you say, it is your presence. The more you can be this, your natural state, the more you are giving your innate currency. So just being, you give others the permission to feel pleasure, especially when it comes to pleasure. That is something that's missing in a lot of people's lives because they're so busy doing, and not being. We're human beings, we're not human doings. So that is the innate currency that you provide to others, is this idea that it's okay to exhale, it's okay to truly savor each and every moment. And you show us that we can do that and still be productive and still get things done. So the more you express that and show that, the more you're really in alignment with the medicine that you're here to bring. Your flow state is how you naturally attract riches. And so, if you think of an athlete in flow, they aren't thinking when, if they're a basketball player, when they're on the court, or if they're a track star, when they're on the track, they aren't thinking. They are now in tune with their body so much that they're now in flow. And so as a Libra, when it comes to money, your flow state is being optimistic and creating space for others to feel beautiful and in harmony with themselves. Now, that's not to say that you don't have the opportunity, or there isn't, that it's wrong if you are pessimistic about something, or you see the other side of a situation and you're not optimistic about it. That's not what this is about. Your flow state is about that you bring optimism to the situation and you create space for others to feel beautiful and in harmony with themselves. Libras are a lot about justice. If you look at the Libra in mythology, it is about balance, and it's a woman holding a scale. It's used a lot actually in courtrooms, the scale related to Libra. And so bringing something in balance is really about bringing beauty and harmony to the situation. And that's when you're in flow. The more you are in that state, the more you will naturally attract riches. So what does that mean when it comes to activating the law of attraction? So as a Libra, naturally activating the law of attraction, here's some five things that you can do. Surround yourself with beauty. Beauty will look different for each person. It could be a candle, it could be lighting incense, it could be taking an additional 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to massage your face with rose oil. Whatever beauty looks like to you, surround yourself with beauty. It could be flowers if that's something that you enjoy. The more you surround yourself with beauty, the more you feel like you're in a beautiful state, the more you can bring that to others. So that's one way of activating the law of attraction for you. Also indulging in nature. Nature is healing for everyone, especially for Libras. It brings you back into balance. It helps with your nervous system, and it just helps you find harmony within your own self. Everyone needs nature, Libras especially. So activating the law of nature, or activating the law of attraction, you can do that by indulging in nature. Balance hard work with daydreaming. We live in a society where we are very much go, 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 especially for those on the call that are based in the United States. We do have a culture where a lot of it's about work, which, it's okay. We're productive. At the same time, we can really drain ourselves. And so as a Libra, again, you already know this about yourself. You love balance. Balance the hard work that you put in with daydreaming, and daydreaming that doesn't have a purpose. You just let your mind wander for the sake of letting your mind wander. That will help activate the law of attraction. You will naturally attract hunches, inspiration by doing that without having a purpose. So with your daydreaming, just let it flow. That will help you balance all the hard work that you put in. Number 4, create a container for your work. So a container meaning, especially if you love what you do, it can be easy to do it all the time. It can be easy to, you get an idea and you immediately take action on it, and then you go down this rabbit hole with that idea, and then you look up 3 hours later and you're working on something that you thought would take 5 minutes and you were supposed to be relaxing. Maybe I'm the only one that experienced that. But as a Libra, creating a container for your work will help activate the law of attraction. That's not to say that you can't occasionally do what I just described, but the more you can create a container for the work that you do, the more you can find your own balance and harmony. A container can look like having a separate office, so you only work in that office, and you know that that's work time. You go into the office, you have that mindset that I am here to accomplish X, Y, Z, and then once I'm done, I'm going to leave the office and go into nature and go daydream. It could be you light a specific candle. It doesn't have to be a separate office. It could be that you light a specific candle that creates the container for your work. Whatever you need to do to create that space where this is clear that I'm in work mode, and then once I'm out of work mode, I have a safe space, a separate space to indulge in my daydreaming, indulge in my own form of beauty and harmony outside of work. So that's number 4. And then 5, pursue projects that incorporate a justice element. And this can be, justice, like overt justice related to environmental justice, economic justice. It could also be not so overt. So I believe Virginia, if I'm remembering your name correctly, you're a makeup artist. So justice as a makeup artist could be the idea that women can feel beautiful in their natural skin. That is a form of protest, if you will, in a not so overt way, by helping others feel beautiful as they are, because there's so many messages that tell us that we aren't beautiful. So I say that because it doesn't have to be justice overtly. It can be another way of bringing harmony and balance. But the more that you can pursue projects that incorporate that, the more you'll be in that flow state of activating the law of attraction. So those are ways you can heighten your law of attraction. A couple of ways that it can be dull, just so you know not only how to activate it, but also some ways that may reduce your ability of being in the flow state. One is grinding through a process. So you already know this about yourself. You are about balance. And if you're overcompensating in any way, whether you're overcompensating in daydreaming, but usually, especially in this culture, we're usually overcompensating on working really hard. So the more you grind through a process and you don't listen to your body, listen to your own intuition about resting, you will dull your ability to be a money magnet, which seems counterintuitive. You would think, well, the harder I work, the more money I'll make. That's not how being in the flow of law of attraction is, though. It's about being, and especially as a Libra, your beingness brings pleasure to a situation. If you're not feeling pleasure, you are dulling your ability to naturally attract riches. And then 2, to go along with that, being overly strategic. So being strategic takes a lot of cerebral power. It takes a lot of being in the mind. And our mind is meant for very specific purposes. Absolutely, it's helpful. However, as a Libra, if you tend to go to your mind more so than being in your body, you will dull your ability to be in that flow state. Remember, you're about pleasure, beauty, harmony. That is felt, and we only feel through the body. And so if you're overly strategic, you're tending more to be in your head, and we want to get back into our bodies. So thinking about that will help you know when you're potentially dulling your ability to be a natural attractor of money. So what are some steps you can take now that you know a little bit more about how your birth chart relates to your relationship with money, how to be a natural money magnet? Step number one, I would say reflect on what resonated with you. So remember at the beginning of this, I said, take what resonates, discard what doesn't. So if anything doesn't resonate with you, please discard it. And if it does resonate with you, then apply it to your specific situation. So take what you just learned and reflect on it and really feel it. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Sometimes words diminish the feeling. So reflect on it and then feel it. Number two, I highly recommend getting this book. Chani Nicholas does not know who I am. I'm not at all affiliated with her work. I don't get a kickback at all from this. When I see good information, I share it. And if you want to dive more into astrology, I definitely recommend getting her book. Her book does not touch on money really at all. She does talk a little bit about career, but her book is more about your life and how astrology can help you better understand your life. And so that book is amazing for that. The money piece, as I said, is all from my own intuition. So definitely get her book if you want to dive more into astrology as it relates to your life. And then step number three, with this information, once you know what resonates with you, make money with you in mind. Make the emphasis, the focus on being in alignment with who you are. And the more you are who you truly are, the more money you make. That is for sure. And something to keep in mind with that, something that I've seen that may be helpful to you as you look through your chart is really focusing on the Mars location. This is where I'm seeing a lack of clarity when it comes to money. We had this actually on the last call for Virgos when I did a reading for someone on the call, and she was confusing her motivation with her soul's purpose, meaning a lot of people will incorporate the house that Mars is located in their career, in the service that they're providing. For instance, if Mars is placed in the health and wellness place of their chart, they will provide health services, health coaching, when in fact, that's where they need to be spending more money. As opposed to giving that service, they need to be receiving that service. So spending money there in order to fuel their motivation. And so that's something that you may want to pay attention to when you look through your chart, is really honing into your Mars placement and directing dollars towards that area. We talk a lot about clarity in the Moneymaker group. So better understanding what money is, how to make it work for you, and then getting clarity on how to make money in alignment with your soul's purpose is what we dive into in the Moneymakers group. This is the paid membership of Money and Mimosas. You can find more about it on moneyandmimosas.com. I'm also happy to answer any questions here about it. Cool, and that is today's presentation. Again, check out moneyandmimosas.com for more information. And I think we have some time, looking at my clock, for a money reading, or for me to answer any questions for anyone on the call. Let's see. Yay, cool. Let's see, does anyone want to have a money reading, or does anyone have any questions about what was just shared? Virginia, cool. Yeah, Virginia, let's do it. I love it too, because you're the makeup artist. This is fun. If you could, so what I'll need is your birth time, birth date, and location of birth. And then I'm gonna pull up your chart and we'll do a reading. Okay, let's see. And then as Virginia is sending me her info, I'll only do one reading, but if anyone has any questions or clarification, I can also answer those questions. So awesome. So Virginia just sent her info. Okay, just give me a couple moments, everyone, as I pull up Virginia's birth chart. Okay, September 1983, 3 p.m. Okay, cool. And the time is important for your ascendant. So I just want to confirm, Virginia, that 3 p.m. is the time. 3 p.m. specifically, like. Cool. And yeah, so Shani, you asked where to get birth charts. It's on the Eventbrite sign up here. This is the site though that I go to. If anyone wants to pull up their chart. Yes, absolutely, Shannon. You're welcome. All right, so I've got Virginia's here. Okay, cool. So yes, look, Virginia, can you see your chart? You could just type yes in the box. Make sure you can see it. Perfect. Okay, cool. Let me go back to sharing the full screen. Okay, so let's take a look at Virginia's chart. So what we're seeing here on the left-hand side, Virginia, so we've got your birth date, September 25th, 1983, born on Sunday, born at 3 p.m. in Buenos Aires. And let's look down further to your natal chart. So we see your sun sign is in fact a Libra, your ascendant is an Aquarius. That's cool. So what we're going to do first is look at your sun placement. So we already know that your innate currency is providing pleasure, making people feel beautiful and in harmony with themselves, which, my goodness, you're a makeup artist, so that makes total sense. Let's see your house though. So you're in house 8. So just so you know that where I'm looking. So I'm looking at your sun sign. We can see that it's in house 8. So what I'm referring to now is Chani's book. And then what I do is look at her information about life and then distill it in my own magic to understand it from the money perspective. Okay, so okay. So house 8 has a lot to do, house 8 has a lot to do with pain and suffering. And because your sun sign is in house 8, the more you shine in a place where someone feels pain, where they feel a sense of loss, a lack of confidence, the more that's the medicine that you bring to the world. Again, our sun sign is about the medicine that we bring. And usually if someone's sun sign is in house 8, it's the medicine that they bring is related to pain that they've indeed felt growing up. And so because I know you're a makeup artist, I imagine that that is part of what drew you to the artistry of bringing empowerment, confidence to others in the form of feeling beautiful, is that you intimately know what it feels like to not feel beautiful, and you want to bring that to others. And so the more you can do that, the more you'll be in that flow of attracting abundance. But that is something to consider, though, is that's part of what draw you to that space, is because of likely something that you experienced where you felt the opposite, where you didn't feel in harmony, didn't feel beautiful. And you are bringing that medicine to the rest of us when it relates to that. So that's related to the sun sign. I imagine that isn't anything, hopefully that resonates, because hopefully it's not something that's completely left field. That should be something that you likely already knew. Let's look at your moon sign now, though. This is where we find the money blocks and potential setbacks. So your moon sign is in house 4, and it's a Taurus. Yes. Okay, cool. So we're going to look at your moon in Taurus, and then, oh, this is really interesting because Taurus is a lot about beauty and pleasure. Oh, Virginia, I feel like I need you in my life. I can't get enough of beauty and pleasure in my life, and you've got this all over your chart. So, okay, so moon in Taurus, though, when it relates, as it relates to money, is about potential setbacks and growth opportunities. And so with your moon in Taurus, let me read through this. Okay, that's interesting. And then so I just read the moon sign, and now I'm going to look at your house 4. Usually I write out these money readings. This is awesome for me to be able to do it live in person, because it trains another part of my communication. Okay. 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 So Virginia, with your moon sign in Taurus and with it in house 4, as it relates to money, and this is where we have our growth opportunities or setbacks, which I've said before, but just to set the container for what I'm about to share with you. So with this placement for you, one of the challenges, growth opportunities for you, is to start, you give more than potentially what you have to offer. You are someone that people feel like they can always lean on, particularly in your family, whatever you call family, your foundation. House 4 is related to foundation, ancestry, family. Moon in Taurus is about this placement tends to make the person someone that others see as steady, stable, sturdy, someone that will always be there for them. And you are always there for people, at the detriment of yourself, though, often. The opportunity is to start giving yourself that same pleasure and love, the same reverence that you give to others do for yourself. Right now, your well is a little depleted, a little low, and it's likely, I keep seeing your foundation. Like, this has to do with family. This has to do with, you feel a sense of responsibility, perhaps to your ancestry, perhaps to those that maybe it's immediate family, maybe you grew up in an environment where it is revered to give to elders and to continue to uphold them, do what you need to do to be a quote unquote good family member. That's not to dismiss the importance of that. The opportunity, though, is to find balance. Again, your Libra sun sign balance. It's about finding balance in that, um, in that space where, yes, you are there for family. Yes, you're someone that someone can lean on, but also you have to put yourself first. This can show up either, it could be very linear in terms of being very directly related to money. Maybe you're someone that people go to for finances when they're in a tough spot, like you're there to spot them. Or it could not be as direct as that. It could be in other ways, like you're that ear that they always can count on to listen to them. You can let me know towards the end which part of that resonates with you, but that's the opportunity, is to start filling your own cup, really placing yourself first. The same thing that you are likely telling other people because of the space that you're in when it comes to beauty, like that's the medicine you need to start giving to yourself. That's so that's related to the moon. Now let's look at your ascendant, which is in Aquarius. So this is about your sales style as it relates to money. Your ascendant can tell you a lot of different things. Again, I focus on money, so this is about how you express your gifts so that you can sell what you're offering. Let's look at Aquarius. Oh, this is interesting. I'm really curious to see if any of this resonates with you, Virginia. Um, this is interesting. So as an Aquarius ascendant, when it comes to your sales style, this is really cool. So as a Libra, you know you're about balance, harmony, and beauty. Libras also have a tendency to well, their medicine is about bringing justice, about bringing balance to the world, about bringing harmony on in the earth, on this planet. And with your Aquarius ascendant, that is further confirmation of the justice that you are here to bring. And it could be justice, like I said earlier, it could be overt justice, like environmental justice. Perhaps you use only eco beauty products when you're working with clients. It could also be that you are making people feel beautiful after years of them hearing the complete opposite. When it comes to your sales style, as an Aquarius ascendant, the more you can break away from the herd, so others that are in your industry, the more you'll attract riches. And you can think, well, that's for everyone, right? Like the more different they are, the more they emphasize how they're different from others, the more they'll attract riches. That's not necessarily the case for some people. Some people, it's about, like Virgos, for instance, it's about being better at the details, not necessarily standing out as different. So as an Aquarius, your sales style is, the more you can communicate how the experience with you is different as a makeup artist, the more you'll attract clients. Instead of focusing on the clinical aspects, like this is, instead of walking your clients step by step in terms of what the process will be with working with you, potential clients, the more you can express how they'll feel differently when working with you, that is your natural flow state when it comes to sales. And that's when you'll be able to naturally attract clients. So that's what your Aquarius ascendant is all about when it comes to your sales style. Let's look at your Mars placement. So this is where we want to spend money, because this is what motivates you to be financially successful. So your Mars is in house 7. And house 7, okay, this is interesting. So house 7 is all about partnerships, committed partnerships. This can be romantic partnerships, it could be friendships, it could be family. From your chart, this makes a lot of sense. From your chart, you are definitely motivated by the friendships, relationships in your life. It's not about money for you, what drives you to be financially motivated. It's about how you can spend more time with the people that you love, which this is where the universe is a trickster, because if you remember your moon placement, the growth opportunities, it's about balancing putting others first with putting yourself first. This is how the universe likes to play games and gives us fun ways to grow, because that's your potential setback. That's also what you love, though, is being around those that you love. And that's what motivates you to make money. It could be your best friend. It could be having time with your 3 kids. I remember now that you have three boys. That's likely what motivates you to have a career where you're making enough money, where you're able to spend as much time with those that you love. And so the more you can spend money in that area, and this can be spending money like meaningful gifts for friends and family. It could be about the way you structure your business so that you only work potentially 4 days a week. The more you can adjust and structure the business and the way you make money, the way you spend money, to really honor your love for committed partnerships, that's what's going to continue to fuel your fire. So yes, that is what I'm seeing from your chart. I'd love to hear. I'm going to unmute you, Virginia, because I'd love to actually hear your voice. If you're okay with that, Virginia, hopefully.
Yes.
Hey, Virginia. Nice
Hi,
to connect with you.
that is so nice. I really appreciate it. You were very spot on. And I was a little bit like sweaty because I was like, oh my gosh, like how can she read all these without really even knowing me or seeing me or anything? But it was definitely very spot on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you for your gifts. I mean, you being in the makeup industry, how long have you been in the beauty industry?
For about maybe since I moved to LA in 2011, I'm not currently working right now because of, current situation, and also because I have 3 small kids
Sure.
who I dedicate my life to basically right now. But I'm super into everything beauty, everything. You were so spot on when you were talking about clean beauty, conscious, um, you know, conscious beauty products. I'm very into wellness and fitness and everything that can create a healthy lifestyle, because I did not have a healthy lifestyle for a long time.
Hmm.
So now it's like I'm not sure where to go with all these gifts, but definitely it's all what I'm like trying to figure it out right now. So it was all very, very, very impressively spot on. I'm like a little shocked. Like, yeah.
Well,
No,
go ahead.
no. What you were gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm glad it resonated for sure. Yeah, this is a tough time for folks that are in the makeup, in film, beauty space, especially. Yeah, the more you can be in your body, the more you'll get insights and inspiration for next steps for you.
Yeah.
Especially, I love that you're already passionate about eco beauty. Perhaps it's your own product line in that space. Perhaps it's partnering with a line that you're already passionate about.
Right. Yeah.
There's so many options available to you.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm all about, physical wellness and mental wellness too, because yes, you mentioned it. Part of why I became a makeup artist is because I had a really hard time with self-esteem, self-love, and all that growing up. So that was definitely one of the reasons I became a makeup artist or a beauty expert is because I wanted to give people tools to feel good about themselves. It was less about being shallow, but it was more about like finding empowerment inside through the outside.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this because that is exactly what is the misinterpretation, the misunderstanding with your work.
Mhm.
That yeah, it's not shallow at all. Self-worth,
No.
self-esteem it's incredibly important. There's not enough words to describe the importance of it. Yeah, I would say take the information that you learned today, sit with it. Well, not sit with it, actually work your
Mhm.
body as like work out as you process it.
Mhm.
And yeah, let's stay in touch. Definitely let me know what comes through for you as you reflect on next steps, the next evolution of your business.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And I would love, yes, to stay in touch because I've been trying for many, many years. Never was good at managing money.
Okay.
And I always, well, I had a tough relationship with it growing up. And I just want to like, make things happen. And also like by modeling, make people believe also that everything is within, right? And we can truly achieve anything that we want, but it takes a lot of work and time to get to that point. So I am all about working hard towards discovering that in myself to help others.
Yes, yes. Are you part of the Moneymakers?
I'm not, but I probably will. Yeah, I will.
Okay, yeah, so Moneymakers is all about what you just said about getting in alignment within, because what is our outer world reflects our inner world.
Yeah,
And yes, I'll send you information about it. It's on moneymimosas.com, but I'll send you a separate email so you have that info.
sounds great.
Yeah, yes, that is what we're all about.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'll give you my. I mean, I think you have my email, but I'll give you my email anyways. And yeah, I would love to, be part of the group and just keep growing.
Absolutely. Yes, you've got a special purpose here on this planet, bringing beauty and harmony. That is, especially now, that's what we need.
Yeah.
So thank you for your
Thank you.
gifts.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone who was on the call today. This is one of my, I think I just unmuted somebody else, unfortunately. I'm not sure what I'm doing. The more you get to know me, the more you'll realize that not one of my gifts is technology. So thank you all for being with me today. And I'll send out an email so you have this recording available to you. And if you'd like to learn more about Moneymakers, I'll also include in the email more information about that. And Virginia, I got your email. I'll send you a special note. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And thank you for your presence. I'll talk to you all soon.